Hello and welcome to another one-on-one lesson, geography lesson by Johnny. And here in this video, me and Mr. An, one of my students, we are working on learning activities 4.3, which is urban sprawl. So what exactly is urban sprawl? Do you remember the definition, Mr. An?
Yeah, it's like urban sprawl. It's like a city in a weird shape or something.
It's the development, spontaneous development of the city. It's not planned, it's just spontaneous development of a city, so that the city looking from above, it has a very weird shape. That is
Weird.
called, you know, urban sprawl, and of course it looks ugly. Not only it does look ugly, but it affects the health of the citizen as well, because it grows spontaneously. It's not planned. So factories can be built right next to residential areas, which could damage the health of the people by pollution, water
Yeah,
pollution, air pollution, things like that. So it doesn't only affect the aesthetics of the city, but it also affect the health of the citizens too. And it might also affect the transportation as well, because if things are not concentrated in one place, but you just spread everywhere like that randomly, it might produces what's it called, um, traffic jams.
perfection.
Because if things are not specialized in one place, people won't build roads, especially for them. So it means that
Mm.
normal people commuting to work and trucks and things that carry material to the factory, they have to go in the same road. They mix together, so it produces traffic jam. It can produce traffic jam. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So that's urban sprawl. So what did we do in the last page? What did we do?
So we
Okay, we're looking at the map of Montreal, controlling
yeah,
city growth. So because we don't want this bad thing to happen, so we have to control the city growth. We have to plan, urban planning is important. It's actually a degree called urban planning too. And people can study it, and then they can get involved in the government, working for these urban planners department, urban planning department.
Hmm. Montreal had the second largest built-up area in Canada in 2011, and also one of the highest population density, 3,256 people per square kilometer. And it's over 80% of Vancouver natural semi-natural land was forest in 2011. The city lost 296 square kilometers of natural and semi-natural land to settle area between 1971 and 2011.
Regina. We're looking at Regina now. Metropolitan
Mm,
area ecosystem. Regina experienced some of the greatest loss of arable land. Oh wow.
yeah.
Sounds like people just take land randomly around this place. You see. So it just like a lot of space in between these kind of pieces of land.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's really weird. It's like little islands surrounding Regina. Tame or seeded pasture and some of was not snoopy. Well, it's not the best scenario. Like I said before, if things are not planned and not concentrated in one place, then it's not specialized enough. People won't be road specialized for those activities, and there's a chance that miscommunication and transport of things might be not as easy as before.
Yeah.
Not as easy as when it's planned.
Mm,
Imagine you have to take the ingredient A to the north of the city, and you have to take ingredient B at the south of the city, ingredient C at the west of the city, something like that.
yeah.
So it's not concentrated in one place; it just spread everywhere. It costs more, of course, money for transportation, effort, energy, time too. So at the end, the price of products might be higher, which is not good for everyone. Not good for the consumer, not good for the manufacturer either, because higher cost.
Edmonton at 752 square kilometer of built-up area from 1971 to 2011, giving it the fastest growth rate in the country, 220%. What trend do you notice in the amount and direction of urban expansion?
The amount and direction of urban expansion. Hmm. Okay, just look at the picture again. Where are they headed? Like, what direction? North, south, west, or east? Something like that. Just look at the picture again
Yeah.
of Edmonton.
So
Oh my god, this picture looks like a medical picture of a cell, a cancer cell, something like that. But no,
it
it's
does look like so.
like stained with the same color, like cancer cell, something in biology. Alright, so it concentrates in Edmonton, Central, and then Leduc County.
Mm.
So what do you think?
Direction, urban expansion.
Isn't it just spread everywhere now?
Yeah, it's like
It's random.
spread
It's
everywhere.
random. Very random. The direction is random, but how about the amount?
Now,
The amount of urban expansion, like how much they expanded. Do they expand it a lot? Something like that.
Oh yeah, it's
The
also a lot.
expansion, it's actually the amount of expansion is actually quite significant, but however, direction is quite random, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Action is random and the expansion expansion is very large and wide. Both appear to be increasing. Cities tend to grow outward from their core.
Grow outward from the core. Of course, they have to grow outward from the core. They cannot grow inside, you know? They have
Yeah,
to grow outward from the core. Mm-hmm. Intensification versus urban sprawl. Like, intensification make things more intense, more dense, right?
yeah,
So on the one hand, urban intensification emphasizes high density development in condo tower and vertical living. So basically people don't move out. They just stay in one place, but they build like building, high rise buildings, so just go upward, you know. So it becomes very dense urban areas. So it intensified condo tower, vertical
intensify.
living, more high rise building, more and more people living in one areas, you know.
Yeah,
But urban sprawl like promotes outward growth of cities, so they just spreading out. They don't just go up. So city getting bigger with urban sprawl, but with urban intensification, city doesn't get bigger. They just get more condensed. More and more people living there. More intensified.
intensify. Hmm.
Something.
Whereas,
Okay, so you're
I'm just
talking about what? Urban sprawl in Calgary, right?
yeah.
Okay, please read it. Urban sprawl in Calgary. Self-assessment and reflection. Okay, just go down. Just don't spend too much time in one place.
Yeah. Sprawl because of you, the ambitious smart growth policy.
In Calgary,
Alberta.
Alberta.
Overall, the literature review and smart growth analysis indicate the
Analysis.
calorie
Smart growth analysis
analysis
indicate that.
analysis analysis
Analysis indicate that.
analysis. One, promoting compact development, building where infrastructure and development already exist by increasing density, providing and promoting a variety of transportation options, connecting land use with transportation, atomic car, supply affordable housing, enhance affordability and increasing options. A fourth overseas challenge in relating the effectiveness of regional government structure. Table 7 summarizes. Table 7 summarized the key findings from literature review and analysis. Trends have been categorized based on corresponding element of smart growth and branded of being effective, positive, or negative, overcharge, and
Overarching trends emerge throughout the study, especially specifically the literature reviews. It could not be categorized into one of the key elements analyzed. I feel like these things It confuses you. It doesn't really help. These kind of extra material. I don't know why, but it's
Yeah,
just too many things. It just make things diluted, and you don't get the main point. Just go downstairs and go down and see anything. Overarching issue, regional planning. I think these things doesn't help. Just go out of that. It's
okay.
just so random.
Mhm.
Urban Sprawl, no surprise. Let's look at that one now. Editorial, Urban Sprawl, no surprise. Let's hope that this one is better. Okay.
Yeah.
Fringes of cities, like city outside, occur on the city fringes, so outside the city. Okotoks, Ardiri, and Stratmore.
Hmm.
Some people, whether they're starting family, enjoying retirement, or content with themselves, are going to consider affordability. Of course, everyone wants to get a house that they can afford, not like super expensive.
It's just affordable. Yeah, the city has productive. All people, whether they're starting family, enjoying retirement, or growth themselves, are going to consider affordability. The city has produced a study that calculated 89% of Cali population growth in the next few years will be suburb,
Mhm.
compared with just 11% in developed community closer to the city center.
So basically, think about Ho Chi Minh City. Well, Nha Be district, right?
Yeah.
It's basically to the south, very south, southeast of the city, and so that's like a fringe district, like an outside limit of the city before. But now it's developing so fast. You can see so many new housing projects in Nha Be district, and also Hóc Môn. Hóc Môn, Thủ Đức, Hóc Môn. Basically, it's to the north of the
To know.
city. But now it's also very developed. It's developing very fast as well. So many shopping
Oh.
malls, so many new projects. I can't even count. And also, the city is developing to the east as well. District 2, District 9, basically now become something called thành phố Thủ Đức City. It's weird, but um, since it has renamed itself, so expect that place to become like bigger and bigger through time, very very fast. District 2 and 9. To the west of the city, we have, what is it called? Bình Tân, Tân Bình, or something like that. But I don't think those places will develop more in the near future. Maybe very small, maybe very slowly. But most of the city is developing through the southeast, like you know, in the north, and maybe to the east.
East.
Hmm. But what I
Hmm.
mean is that looking at what we're doing now, of course, they're just expanding outward from the core out to the city limits. Can you read quickly?
Uh, uh, again, the finding is not surprising. The city imagined that a developer was going to knock the gallery tower down
Like
and
knock
erect
on
a
it.
big.
Erect new few bungalows? No. You cannot just erect a few tents or bungalows. You have to plan, of course.
And it's always planning.
Of course, you have to do planning. Otherwise, your city will be a mess that you cannot
Yeah,
control. You don't want a city to be a mess that you cannot control.
yeah. The city
The
forecast
city
mirror.
forecast mirrors what's already happening.
What's happened between 2013 and 2017, 84% of Cali population growth went to new suburban community, according to the same report. Last year alone, the city grew by more than 11,000
11,000
people,
people.
with new suburb gaining about 16,000 residents and the
The
remainder
remainder city
fleeing.
losing 5,000. It's inevitable. It's unavoidable. Or inevitable is the same as unavoidable. That people will seek out places affordable. Of course, nobody want to buy a home that is so expensive. They just want a home that they can afford. This is apparently lost on people such as Count Drew Farrell. Huh? Resources are like spreading butter over too much bread. Basically, you just have a certain amount of resources. You cannot have more than that. But you spread a lot of butter. You spread butter over too much bread. It means like it's very thin. And then you cannot just eat like bread, a huge piece of bread with like little butter. It just. Of course you can eat, but it's the taste is awful. So what he meant here is that resources, including schools and parks and amenities. What we've seen is her previous burst of new communities that expand of urban areas is a draining of resources. We need reinvestment. Hmm. School, park, and amenities, well, they have to be able to develop at the same rate as the urban sprawl, at the people rate of expanding.
Hmm.
What Calgary has seen, in fact, is schools that struggle to operate in the city core because parents can't afford to live there. It's so expensive in the city center.
Yeah.
So not many people can afford to live there. So schools can struggle to operate near the city's core. Not in Saigon though. Schools are often not that struggling because most schools in the city are like public schools. I think they don't care. They don't really care. And the amount of people going to those schools are a lot anyway. One class is like nearly 50. I was like, what? Okay, let's just move down. You have to
Yeah.
understand which information to ignore because they are not related, and which information to read.
We sort are like spreading butter over too much bread, said Pharaoh. That includes school and park and amenities. What we see in the previous burst of new community at the expense of urban area is is draining, draining of resource. We need reinvestment. What Cali hasn't seen is fact schools that struggle to operate near city core because parents can't afford to live there. What Cali has witnessed is the creation of the East Village Community Land Corps. which has required millions of Italian tax dollars to revitalize a once neglected region of downtown.
So many weird things that you can read here. But now let's
Yeah.
read let's read the paragraph below that. Now council has had to
Now council has
approve the
had to
spending
approve $100 million to attract new businesses to the city, an expense driven by amount of empty office in the city
empty
core.
office in the city core. Basically, the city core is just so expensive, not many people can afford it. So it means that offices can be empty because not many people can afford to rent it, right?
Yeah.
So the council of the city has to approve the spending of $100 million to attract new businesses to the city. They have to do that, which is really weird, isn't it?
Mm.
Mhm.
Realities of where Italians
Calgarian
choose
choose
to
to live
live
and
and
work.
work, or worse, criticizing them for their decision.
Can you
City
go down?
council
Can you go
should.
down? Scroll down, can you? Oh, it's the end. City
Like,
council should attempt
yes,
to understand resident motivation. If housing is unaffordable or not the desired, what? Can you read that? I can't read that.
yeah. If housing is unaffordable or not desirable, people will decide to live elsewhere. It's that simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not
And
simple, of course. It's too expensive. People won't live there. They will just go away and leave. It's just
hmm,
that simple. Now, um, myself tax and housing problem. So not always urban sprawl is not always that bad. It might be able to solve some tax and housing problem as well. Um, let's read this one.
yeah. Okay. See how uh, say growth on city edges isn't always a bad thing, especially since those communities are changing and becoming more sustainable. Population growth is outpacing inner city densification. Josh White is a private developer, uh, the general manager of development at Dream Unlimited, and a member of
Build the Building
Build.
Industry Land Development Industry Association. Build. He recently made his case to City Council and said it should leave all options on the table when it comes to managing growth, including building out rather than up. So basically, he argued that people should embrace urban sprawl instead of like building up like high-rise building, you know.
Yeah, high-rise building. He recently made his case.
So below you can see the complete interview, but there can be a lot of things that people that doesn't make sense to you. I'm sure about it.
Yeah. He recently White explained that he hoped council would take away talking with the Cali eye opener on Monday. His
Hmm.
conversation has been edited briefly and clearly. Watch the interview below.
Hmm. Oh my god, that's a lot of things. Okay, can we just. Okay, there must be a summary somewhere. We don't have to read the
Yeah.
whole thing here. Okay.
What was this again? I think that is city council by and large degree. We can expect good demand going forward. The economy generally is picking up. The housing market is relatively strong.
The strong international migration to the city, so it means a lot of people from China, Vietnam, India, Russia, Europe, anywhere else going to the city. We have improving net migration to the city interprovincially. So it means they move to different provinces in Canada, and we continue to have a baby boom because of demographic factors. So it means the population of Canada is increasing greatly because of baby boom. You know, just make more babies.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course we need a sufficient amount of land available for a community to develop to have a functional marketplace. So we need to have enough land for that community to live and to develop and to have a functional marketplace, which means if you want to have like a business, factory, selling place, you need to have enough land for it to
In the
function well.
yeah.
The calculation is quite simple. Just read further. Don't spend too much time in one place.
Yeah, we need a sufficient amount of land available for community to develop to have a functional marketplace. The calculation is quite simple. You have total demand, the number of unit you can expect to absorb in each community per year. To give you roughly the number of community you need active at any given time to serve the market. I think the council and city administration have been receptive to that message. There's there's this movement to think about opening more area for greenfield growth. I think that's it. Just, taking a stand where you stand on the
Taking a
issue
stand.
of urban. Yeah.
Where do you stand on the issue of urban sprawl and intensification? It means what do you think? What's your opinion? Whether we should intensify our city or we should support urban sprawl? That's exactly what they ask you to do. Oh wow. Wow, look at this one. They talk about Calgary, and the mayor named Nahid Nenshi has basically trying to battle urban sprawl. So they're trying to
Yeah.
build up, right?
Yeah.
They try to build like more skyscrapers, more high-rise building, so that people won't have to spread out urban sprawl that much.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, look at that city. So much smoke and pollution.
Yeah,
It's an
it's from the
oil-rich,
nervous.
car-friendly city, so of course a lot of pollution. But I don't think it's as bad as Ho Chi Minh City. We never know. On 14th of June 2006.
On 14th of June 2016, as it thus once a month, the entirety of Calgary City, including Mayor Nat Nadine Nenshi,
Nadine
spent nearly the
Nenshi.
whole day. Nenshi spent nearly the whole day reviewing individual applicant for secondary suit. If it sounds like a
No, let's just
tedious,
move. It's not important. Go.
yeah,
Okay, so basically they spend a lot of time to review each and every applications of people trying to expand or something like that. Oh, that Nahid Nenshi, huh? To fight urban sprawl and bring a citywide secondary suit legislation. A fight was indeed what he found.
so Nenshi became the city council representing the urban.
Okay, this is just politics. Move on.
Yeah, well,
So many things
applicant.
unnecessary. I mean, these things make no sense to me. I mean, why don't we just get to the point?
Yeah,
I mean, okay, I don't think these things are what you really need. I can just look at a few keywords and I know that these things won't be what you need. Because, oh my
that's
god,
very
I've been
true.
studying for forever and read a lot of articles.
Well, we're asking a reader like you to make New Year. Yeah, I think this is unnecessary.
Move on. Unnecessary.
That's it to like the urban sprawl. It's
Urban
quick.
Sprawl. Okay, we can move on to another one. Wait, there should be a consolidation something.
Yeah, it's right here.
Ah, it's here. Okay. So, what do you think? Should we support urban sprawl or intensification of our city? I
Um,
wait for your reasoning. What do you think?
just
What do you think?
very issue, like a lot of
So you
issue.
mean there's a lot of issue with urban sprawl, so you support intensification and build more high-rise buildings?
Yeah,
So what's your
because
reasoning behind that?
because urban sprawl is like has like air pollution, like traffic jams, and just although like the issue in like a city where you just it's just hard for it to like develop and just like make some growth in the city itself.
And so basically a lot of traffic jams, a lot of um, it basically doesn't how can I say concentrate the resources in one place, right?
Yeah, it doesn't concentrate all the
So
resources.
urban sprawl can be a problem, but not always. How about intensification? There's a lot of problem with intensification too. If you live in high-rise building, if there's an accident, if there is a fire, it's hard, it's tough. People have to evacuate, and sometimes when you live in high-rise building, that can be difficult. Think about, okay, basically big buildings like that. Um, you have to keep security tight because people are living so close to each other. You have to keep security and you have to keep their hygiene very strict, hygiene. Otherwise diseases can happen because you live very close to the other people, right?
Yeah,
I mean, But then people don't have to move much. They still get their service they require, they want, right? Like for
Mm.
example, upstairs you can have your piano teacher. Downstairs you can have your supermarket. Or on top floor you can have the bar up there. You just have to go by elevator, and you don't have to even take your car sometimes. You don't have to even move much. And then maybe on the mezzanine floor you have your gym. You know, you don't have to
Yeah,
go so many places. That's what they meant. Okay, so that is your idea. Okay, let's move on to the
yeah.
next learning activity then. Sustainable urban growth. Let's try this one. It takes some time to load. Your internet's not that great, right?
Yeah, it's not that great.
Where you live? Where are you living? Where are you living? Wait.
Sometimes.
You say again? Which district are you living in?
uh,
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Which
Can you hear me?
district are you living in?
Cannot review it.
What?
I don't like to say.
So
Mm.
where are you living in now? What district? And? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure, but I'm asking you like 3, 4 times already. Alright, you don't want to talk. Okay, fine. Okay, reconsidering sustainability. Um,
Sustainability. It's been an
Sustainability
ongoing.
means like how much time is it for long-term development? For example, if your development is not long-term, it's very short-term, it destroys environment for good profits, then it's not sustainable. Sustain means to keep for a long time. Sustainability means like, is your development long-term? Can you keep it for a long? Does it help you in the long run? Or does it damage the environment so much that you cannot even do anything after sometimes? Alright, let's read this one.
Yeah.
Sustainability.
And sustainability has been on our team throughout this course. In Unit 2, you learn that sustainability is a model that can be used to understand different concepts and impact on
Impacts
various
on various stakeholders, society, economy,
stakeholders, economic, and natural
natural
environment.
environment. Of course, all the kind of development should be sustainable. You want your development to be long term for like 50, 100 years or even more than that. Not just a few years and then the environment is damaged and you have to move elsewhere. So
Yeah.
sustainability is important. Hmm. Similarity differences within two different designs. Okay, let's look at the two pictures clearly. What do you see?
See that there's like
On the left picture first, please.
cities. Take a look at two different types of city. What are similar in difference?
To the two
To
different designs.
I mean, like this one's like more for like more. It looks like a small town, and wow, this one's like a city.
So the left side doesn't seem like they want to build high-rise buildings, right? So
Yeah,
houses are like only one or two, maybe 2 floor, 2 story maybe, maximum. They don't want to build up higher, you know.
Yeah, up
They don't want to build higher.
as smart growth. Smart growth is an in the interdisciplinary approach to urban planning that's rooted in sustainable development principle. It is part of a movement called New Urbanism that aim to reshape communities so that they minimize environmental impact and improve uh, co- connectivities. Smart growth,
Urban design
urban design,
emphasizes the following:
mixed land use, moving away from single land using use
zoning,
zoning so that
single site have multiple land uses. So one piece of land, there are many different ways to use it. That's what I mean. Mixed land use. So one piece of land, let's say a building will have both commercial and residential land uses. So it means that one building can be used for a shopping mall, for example. And also, people can live upstairs. So it's mixed land uses, like we learned it before.
yeah,
Um, okay, so moving like of single land use zoning, so it means before the one piece of land, there's only one use for it. Like for example, a piece of land is just for entertainment, for example, or just for shopping,
entertaining.
for example. But now they're mixing different uses in one piece of land. That's called mixed land uses. Can you read the second one, please?
Yeah,
Diversify
diverse
transportation choices.
and create walkable neighborhood. Advertising connected neighborhood that reduce fossil fuel dependence and car use, create
Diverse
diversified
transportation.
network for cycling, walking, and public transport.
Walkable neighborhoods. Diversify transportation choices. So basically, not just buses and cars, but we try to diversify it. Like we can have Grab car, bikes, metro, sometimes drones too. Who knows? So we
Mm,
try to diversify it to make more choices for people to choose. And to create walkable neighborhood means you create like lanes for people to walk, and it
yeah,
connects neighborhood that reduce fossil fuel dependence and car use. You don't want to depend too much on fossil fuel because it first pollution, second it's getting more and more expensive each day, third is that it destroys the environment, of course, and slowly the amount of fossil fuel is decreasing. So we have to find an alternative quickly, Otherwise,
yeah.
otherwise there will be a problem, huge one.
Uh, Three, maximize population density and diversity and
Diversified population.
population. Preserve and maintain open space, farmland, uh, land and important environment.
So they try to smart growth means like they try to preserve anything that is natural, maintain open space, which means you don't want to stack everything in one thing and it looks so ugly, like a lot of skyscraper. You want to
Yeah,
maintain open spaces so the view people can still view afar. Not like you are blocked by a lot of high-rise building. You don't want to block everything so people cannot even see the sun. Basically, if there's a high-rise building in front of your house, and basically you won't even be able to see the sun, and your house is so dim lit all the time. It's not good. So we have to maintain some open space so the sunlight can still pass through. Encourage citizen and stakeholder participation to create a fair and cost-effective development decision. So basically,
mm,
citizens are the one who will use those houses, right? We
yeah,
have to be the one who to have a voice, to have a say in matters too, of course, because they're the one who use it. But stakeholder, I mean, these are the people who stakeholder. I think the people who developed or who put their money into this development. I think they have to also be the one to join in the decision making. To create a fair and cost-effective development decisions. All right.
and stakeholder participant in decision-making
Participation.
process to create fair and cost-effective development decision.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they create a choice or
Basically, they
yeah,
encourage everyone to join in,
yeah,
to join in and have a say in matters that concern them, not just the government, because the people are the one who will use those homes, who use those buildings, citizen. So they have to be the one
yeah,
to join in decision to say, okay, this one doesn't work for me. How about that one? Okay, my house is being might be how can I say blocked by that building. I don't want that in front of my house, like for example, something like that.
mm,
And also the stakeholder are the people like project man, the project organizer or project master or whatever they are called. They have to join in to make decision as well, because we are living in a, how can I say, democratic society, rất là dân chủ, very democratic. Everyone has a say in matters that concern them.
yeah,
This is Canada. You cannot just make decision regarding people without they participating in. Of course, this is Canada. Oh, what's that? Oh, the world's top city for people on the planet. Wow, don't tell me. Vancouver's on top. Montreal's like that again. It's interesting. Buenos Aires, Rio de Janeiro, Detroit, Mexico. Anyway, let's move on. I don't think there's much information we can get here.
yeah.
Oh, already?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, to
Well,
deepen your
there's
understanding, we have to do this. Complex
opinion,
problem.
Canadian. Yeah,
Oh, Canadian cities are among the most livable in the world. Of course, maybe good school system, good shopping malls, less pollution, and they appreciate art, and
Yeah,
people are very nice. To be honest, Canadian people are actually very nice,
yeah.
much nicer than Americans. To be honest with you. All right, this is a very people can criticize me for this comment.
Up. We are living in the urban century. 55% of the world population live in cities, and by 2050, that
And
is
is
expected to
expected to
rise
rise
to
to
65%.
65%.
82% of Canadians live in urban areas, and by 2050, the number is expected to increase to 90%.
Wow, that's like 90% in the city is like a lot. You won't see many people living in say countryside setting anymore.
Yeah,
Impressive. That's a this one like Canadian city are impressive. Sounds very biased.
very biased.
Very biased. Generally, they don't have big slums, pollution, race riots, bankrupt governments, or tolerance for corruption. Are you sure? Wow, are you sure? They are clean, healthy, well governed, and multicultural. Okay, that I agree. But no pollution, no bankrupt government, no tolerance for corruption. Wow, that's very biased. Mutual accommodation of differences is a deep seated value. So it means that people accommodate, people accept that there are differences between different people, you know.
Yeah,
So they accept racial, they accept the fact that them people are different. Let's just say that.
yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Unaffordable housing, homeless,
Homelessness, basically,
urban.
there are still daunting complex problems, increasing gap
Yeah,
between rich and poor, too expensive housing, unaffordable housing, homelessness. People, wait, we read that there is no homeless people in Canada in the last unit, and now they say there's a problem with homelessness.
bruh.
Really?
I
You
don't
see?
even.
So one article is like contradict the other. You remember that one, right?
Yeah, a bit, a bit.
They said that. Okay, they said that everyone is accepted, and there's no homeless people in Canada in the last unit, and now they say there's a problem of homelessness. What? Urban
I think.
Aboriginal poverty, discrimination, drugs, ethnic and economic segregation,
Lack of strong economic base and
basis, and apathy. Apathy means people are like indifferent. People are like, okay, you have problems? Oh wow, you look so poor. Okay, fine, not my business. It's like that, you know? Apathy.
yeah,
Like people like that's your problem, not mine. It's like that, you know, apathy.
yeah,
To name a few. It's not a good thing to be apathic, you know, apathic.
mm,
Because problems will eventually affect you somehow too. Because we are living in this together. Lack of strong economic basis. Economic segregation, which means like one district is very rich, but another district is like poorer. They're not really connected well in terms of development. Ethnic segregation means like sometimes this place is formed, like say Métis. Another
Métis?
district is like more for First Nation, for example, something like that. They segregate
Yeah.
into like regions. It's called ethnic segregations, which is also a type of discrimination.
Discrimination. Only Toronto, followed by Montreal, Vancouver, and Cali. Mm, Vancouver make the list of global cities, those that influence wealth, finance. Yeah.
Influence world financial and economic decisions. Why do
Yeah.
they call it global cities? Because these cities are big and they are influential on the whole earth. You know,
Yeah.
they are big and they are influential in terms of economic, financial, economic decision, which means, for example, like Hong Kong, it's huge in terms of economic. It's a huge economic hub. Singapore also a huge economic hub. So they are very influential for economic and financial decisions of the whole world. So Calgary, Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto make the list of global cities. Yet what our city lacks in alpha economic power, they make up for on measures of livability and global influence. It means that you are not alpha economic power, which means you are not like the richest, the most
Riches.
important, not the most important like money maker place, not the most important like economic power like money making place in the world, but then it makes it up for like it's the most livable city and it has a big influence on the world somehow.
Yeah.
So in other words, I can say that Canadian cities are not the richest kids, but they're the most influential kids. People will listen to them. It's like that, and people
Yeah.
want to live, want to be with them. Am I making things too easy now? All right. Before we become too self-righteous, I'm the only one right. Become
Yeah.
too self-righteous, too critical,
Too
too
critical.
complacent. Tự mãn, complacent. Oh, well, we need to consider future context in which our city will operate. Wow. Now it sounds just like you're trying to boost up your own morale, boost up your own ego.
Ego.
Thổi phồng cái tôi.
And however, we need to consider the future context in that which our city will operate. The effect of climate change and potential nuclear weapon threatening global. changing between global security, U.S. protectionism, and
Protectionism,
nationalism.
nationalism,
An international agreement on climate change, international security, and trade. In this critical time, city can provide stability in the
stability in the
midst.
midst of chaos,
So, what do Canadians need to continue to survive?
to thrive, enhance direct federal funding for local housing solutions,
System 6. Through a federal endowment, the Green Municipal Fund has successfully provided stable, financial supportive, and affordable housing and related community service, requiring constant data to research the efficacy of different approaches to dampen land and
speculation and increase
trust.
the stock of housing types. Mhm.
Nonprofit and co-op housing unit creates private sector rental housing and program blending federal elaborated capital cost allowance
Provincial rental supplements,
and
municipal land
land
lease could be a game changer.
to invest in civil society.
xã hội dân sự ha. Invest in civil society and build more resilient communities. Resilient means they're stubborn, is it?
Yeah,
Stubborn to changes, isn't it? Resilient. Maybe it doesn't
resilient.
mean bad thing. It can be that the communities that can resist a lot of stress, a lot of changes in a positive way, not the bad way.
Yeah,
Economic shocks. So resilient community means like they can survive in term if there's a crisis, economic crisis, for example. Like for example, COVID-19, it produced a lot of problem with money, everyone getting poor. But these resilient communities will survive while others won't because they're
mm,
not resilient enough, you know.
yeah,
Natural disaster as well. If you have a resilient community, they will survive natural disasters. They will survive the loss of their loved ones. They will survive social upheaval. Social upheaval means like development, social like, for example, change in government, war,
change.
uh, crisis, riots, protest. These are social upheavals, you know. Những cái vấn đề
Yeah,
của xã hội, những cái lúc đi lên xuống xã hội, like up and downs of a society, you know, upheavals. Technological or market dislocation. So it means that if technology develops so fast, it produces a shock to the society too, you know, to the community too. Like the resilient community, they have to be able to survive and adapt to the new changes, you know. Like you don't want people who resist changes all the time, you know. Like parents, grandparents refuse to adapt to new technology, something like that, you know. You don't want that. You want people to
yeah,
accept and to adapt. How about market dislocation? It means that if the market changes so quickly, the market changes, people have to be able to adapt to get a job, you know. They have to learn new things to adapt to the changing market. Otherwise, they will be homeless or jobless, you know.
jobless.
You don't want it. Like, for example, right now, maybe doing IT and interior designing or being, what's it called? doing Bitcoin or things related to that. It's a trend now, but maybe in the next 10 years it won't. There will be something else. So the market changes all the time, you know. So it's called market dislocation. Or it can also mean that the market changes to a different place. So your place no longer is the center anymore. You have to move. Something like that.
Mm,
See? So
established.
they increase the sense of belonging, inclusion. You know what inclusion is?
Yeah.
So basically included people and not just excluded amount, you know. Everyone is in this together. Happiness of people and communities. They make our city strong, livable, and essential democracy. If people are not, they don't feel good. The city is not strong, weak. They're not livable. People will basically protest a lot, and the democracy will be affected heavily. You know, you don't want that. And the result is that there will be a dictator coming up. You know, a dictator
Yeah. Dictators, like someone enslaved their government or something.
who's like, "You have to listen to me. No democracy." It's like that, something like that. Dictator, you know, who
Hmm.
always try to make people do things their way and don't listen to the others. That's a dictator. And they may even like prosecute the people for having a different opinion to them too. Those are dictators.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our. Of course, you need to make cities livable, make cities strong, make people happy, and keep the democracy. Now, let's continue.
Canadian businesses and local government compete against each other to attract investment and talent.
Mhm.
Canadian and local government compete against each other to attract investment and talent.
Wow, sounds like there's a competition between the government and the Canadian businesses. I mean, both want to attract talents, you know, investment and talent. So, of course, talent and investment, they will find a place that is more suitable for them. It's like an ongoing tug of war, you know.
Yeah.
There's no national, provincial, or regional agreement about who does what best and where. So basically, it's a very fair competition, very democratic, you know. It's not like the government take control of everything, just like in Vietnam, you know. No, it's not like that.
Canadian business compete. There are no national, provincial, or regional agreement about who does what best and where. Competing trade missions sometimes result in businesses or government cutting deals that undermine our commitment to action or climate change, peace,
peace or international
international
security.
hmm, security, the local government, businesses, and professional in Metro Vancouver. For example, need to
Need to
build
build
a
a
regional
regional economic strategy. One equal to or better than those of Seattle and Portland.
yeah,
City is a worthy objective than striving to be global heavyweights. Heavyweight. It's like you don't want to
wait,
be a global superpower or something like that, but
yeah,
they Canadian want to advance the livability of our city. They want to make the city more livable, attractive to people, and people are happy. They don't want to
yeah,
be the biggest competitor. They don't want to be like the richest or the global heavyweights. In the financial and political arenas. Don't want to be the most influential. They don't want to be like the richest, but they want to be the happiest country, I think. Like the most livable country that invite everyone in. It's like that. A lot of countries they want to be richest, most influential, but no, Canada doesn't want that one. I think that's what it means here.
investory board of investment, a municipal housing fund, a tax regime regime to support civil society organizer and broader strategic economic collaboration at the regional and national level are needed. When Canada does so, our city will be more resilient and we have a greater global
Influence. Mm-hmm.
influence.
Was something wrong? Unusual sign activity, huh? Wow. Never mind that. No, who use mails anyway? All right, I think that's it for this one, maybe.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, and then
There.
consolidation, that fast.
Well,
Oh, we have this one,
yeah,
but there's a lot of same thing. I mean, they just talk a lot, but basically it's just the same idea.
yes. But I think we just can go to this consolidation
All right, plus minus
piece.
interesting. Critical thinking score tools called a PMI chart. The PMI chart, a PMI chart asks the learner you to reflect on the issue of urbanization in Canada by identifying positive minuses, means like good and bad thing, an interesting observation in order to decide on a course of action. Let's try this.
So to bring together some of the ideas that have been explored in this activity by using the critical thinking of PIM chart.
Mhm. Wow, we're at 4.5 already. Community sustainability program, something, right?
Yeah,
It's like I mean, there's so many unnecessary things to read. They don't get to the main points. So that's why we just have to skip,
Skip. Yeah.
Community and sustainability profile, assessment for grades, culminating activity.
So it's like a thing I have to do like
Oh, assessment is worth 20% of your grades, and will assess your learning from all 4 units of this course. Wow.
80% already. So
Wow. You have to choose a Canadian city and gather basic statistics about population, physical feature, and economy. Research various sustainability issues. Is this okay? You have to choose one of the following Canadian city: Vancouver, Halifax, Saskatoon, or Edmonton. And then you have to do these
to
3 steps. Uh-huh.
yeah. So it's like I have to do this by myself and just,
Hmm. Yeah, you research to find products. It means you have to play both, like all 4 of those roles. Urban planner, whether you are urban planner. So your audience will be secondary school students. So it should be infographic, like a graph that contains a lot of charts, info, something like that.
yeah.
If you play a role of a teacher, your audience should be member of parliament or the city councillor. So the format should be policy brief. What's that policy brief? Not so sure exactly what it means, but major. If you are a mayor of a mayor of a city, your audience should be tech company. You talk to them. Formats OPD. Operational education, I think. No, not really.
Yeah.
Community resident, real estate developer, dự án những người phát triển dự án nhà đất, real estate developer. So if you are a resident, a citizen, the person who live there, you have to talk to the real estate developer, and you have to do argumentative essay, I think. Oh, so can you ask your teacher whether you have to do all these 4 roles or just have to choose one?
Just choose once.
I think it's easiest. The easiest is community resident, because as a citizen, you do a argumentative essay, and you have to argue like how can livability be improved in this community. Like I want this and that. I want real estate developer to develop like this and that. Why? It's like that.
Yeah.
You have to do a argumentative essay, but you have to do a lot of research, read a lot to have an idea.
Yeah.
And I'll help you with your essay, of course. Of course. Step 4. Complete a reference list by compiling all resources you use to find a product. APA format, many tools.
Ice
And generate
machine is
citation.
big.
Choose one that's available to you. Ensure that all resources are ordered alphabetically by author. Attach this reference list to your final product. Phải có cái list, có danh sách tài liệu tham khảo đó nha, like reference list. Otherwise, your essay won't be, how can I say, valid. Because the teacher will ask, okay, where do you get that from? You have to cite, phải ghi ra là lấy từ nguồn nào, you have to cite like what source you get it from. You have to have a reference list at the end of your final product, Phải có cái list mà tài liệu tham khảo lấy từ nguồn nào, hiểu không? They don't like it. This is what you have to do. I've never liked it. It's learning this way, but Okay, the teacher will assess your final product and reference list using the following rubric. Before submitting your assessment, review the rubric and ensure you are meeting success criteria to the best of your ability. Sounds like a tough essay. Tough work.
Tough work, yeah.
But maybe it's better to ask someone else from the upper years, for experience, how you should do it.
Well, I just do it slowly before.
When's your deadline then for this one?
Oh, deadline, I think. There's no deadline. There's no deadline. It's just like it's completed before.
You have to submit before a specific date or something? Alright. If you move down here, what do we have? Knowledge. Okay, you should ask your teacher when you have to submit this one and how exactly he wants it to be, okay? The problem that you're having right now, it's unclear in your mind, well, how you can do this one. You need to think, you need to ask your teacher a lot to see exactly what he wants. Or she wants. Because if you give them what they don't, the format they don't want it, I mean, your grades will be not so good. And your mom will be complaining to me, Talk to your teacher then.
Yeah, talk to
Ask
the
a lot of
teacher.
questions. Alright, is that the end?
Yeah, that is the end.
Okay, so Monday we do math, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay, continue math. I can't. I can't wait. Basically, I miss math now. Weird.
Don't you have to do math with your other student?
Oh wow! Right now you're the only science student I have. The rest is just like IELTS, and I'm getting sick and tired of that. So it's just repeating the same thing again. I like teaching English. I mean IELTS now, but it's just too
Oh,
much.
there's English.
Say again.
There's English. Yeah.
But it's just
You can
repeating
reach.
the same thing and the same thing. I'm getting tired. You know how it is. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll see you on Monday then. Try to ask your teacher, email him, or something like that. Chat with him, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you then. Okay, that's the end of my videos. Please like, share this video with your friends, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and press on the bell button next to the subscribe button so you can get notified about my new uploads, okay? You can also press follow my Facebook, but please don't add me on Facebook as friends, okay? Cảm ơn các bạn đã theo dõi nha. Các bạn hãy nhấn vào like, chia sẻ video này bạn bè các bạn. Nhấn vào nút đăng ký kênh YouTube mình và nút cái chuông kế bên cạnh để đăng ký kênh đó, để mà các bạn có thể được thông báo về những video mới nha. Các bạn cũng có thể nhấn vào nút theo dõi Facebook mình, nhưng nhớ đừng kết bạn Facebook mình nha. Thank you and see you. Bye.